Well, hello there. You've landed back here at Ritualistically Botanica. If you and I have not met, my name is Mo, and I am your host here. Now, we're going to talk about September 7th because there's a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces. Yes, it is a total lunar eclipse. Now, that's when the Earth steps in between the sun and the moon. And the moon wears Earth's shadow like a shroud, like a Mary Magdalene shroud, blood red. And that's why I call this ghost season, not because it's spooky, but because the past suddenly feels closer than the present. Now, in my case, I've had several people I grew up with pass away over the last couple of years. And life being life, I've run into their families. I offered condolences, of course, but what it really did was open up that bittersweet floodgate of memory. It carried me right back to the 1970s, which for me was that wild, reckless rock and roll decade. Sex, drugs, pirate nights, and the chaos of youth. We weren't saints, but we weren't demons either. We were just kids, clinging to each other, walking through the long, confused tunnels of growing up back then. And seeing their people again brought all that back, not as pain, not as regret, but as a reminder of the companions who once walked that darkness with me. And I say bittersweet because those memories are complicated. People look back on that era and sometimes wince. They say, God, I'm glad social media didn't exist back then. And I'll admit, so do I. But here's the thing. I just don't carry regrets. I'm not proud of everything I did back then. I find it futile to find regrets in something you did at a time when you didn't really know what you were doing. The fact is that no one is today who they were back then. I certainly am a different person, and so are they. We all moved forward. We became different people, built different lives. That time was its own shared experience of survival, a humbling reminder that none of us are perfect, and all of us get caught in the grip of things. Addictions, pain, toxicity, confusion. Some didn't make it out of that time, and some clawed their way through. But for those of us who did survive, there's no room left for judgment. If someone from that time still clings to unforgiveness, that's their baggage, not mine. That's how I see it. But let's be honest. Some of us were really hurt. We ran into escapes that trapped us, and in that process, we hurt others carelessly, recklessly. All of that became traumas that we stored in our 12th house, which is the natural house of Pisces. It's the house of shadows and ghosts. And some of the ghosts that haunt us are not spirits from another side. They're the versions of ourselves that we have never forgiven. Friendships were made in our past, and friendships were broken. That's life. Life is a collection of seasons, people, places, and events. They come and go. They change shape, and none of us stay the same forever. Should we give each other grace for that? Yes. Because most of the ghosts we carry aren't villains. They're just the fellow travelers we once stumbled through the tunnels with. Now, I'm not talking about the real bad actors, the ones who set out to hurt and destroy and do harm. That's a different story. I'm talking about the ordinary encounters we had with our companions. Incidental betrayals, the careless wounds within our little band of brothers and sisters, and like family, sometimes the ones you grew up with cut the deepest. But here's the truth. We move on, and we can't linger there. So what does this eclipse mean? It means that depending on your rising sign, a ghost may knock in a certain corner of your life, not to bind you, not to break you, not to haunt you, but to remind you. And when it does, your only real job is to forgive yourself. Forget what the outside noise says. Forget whether anybody else forgives you. That's their work. Yours is to forgive you, to forgive the ghosts, to thank them for sharing that piece of the road with you, and then to move on. That's it. That's ghost season. Because this just is a prelude to spooky season, when we go full on to Dia de los Muertos and Halloween and All Souls Day and everything else that precedes this season of the witch. That's how I feel about it. But let's move on now. Let's lay this down for each rising sign, sign by sign. Remember, this eclipse isn't just about ghost knocking. It's about service, forgiveness, and opportunity. Where it lands in your chart is where you may bump into a ghost of the past, yes, but it's also where life is asking you to show up, to serve, and to forgive yourself first, them second, and keep on moving on. So, if your rising sign is Aries, then Pisces is lighting up your 12th house. This is the hidden spaces, hospitals, rehab centers, prisons, monasteries, dreamscapes, the place we go when life presses pause. A ghost may come through a dream, or you may visit someone in an institution and suddenly feel the past reaching through. The lesson? Forgive yourself for the ways you've hidden from the world and even from yourself. Forgive the people who met you in those shadows. Service here means compassion, not control. Here is your opportunity for releasing all the guilt and trauma that you might carry from that time. Now, if Taurus is your rising sign, well, Pisces moves through your 11th house. This is friends, communities, festivals, parades, and gatherings. You might bump into an old friend in the crowd or feel the ghost of a group you once belonged to, the echo of a tribe. The call here is forgiveness of the circles that excluded you or the circles you outgrew. Service means showing up for the community you belong to now. The opportunity is to remember that belonging isn't about numbers, it's about resonance. If Gemini is your rising sign, Pisces colors your 10th house, career, reputation, the public stage. The ghost here could be an old boss, a colleague, a mentor from your climb. The reminder of who you used to be in the world's eyes. The forgiveness here is not dragging your old reputation into your present work. Service means showing up with integrity in your vocation now. The opportunity to accept that who you are in the public sphere has evolved, and you don't owe anyone the shadow of who you were. If your rising sign is Cancer, then Pisces floods your 9th house. Here you find belief systems, higher learning, your journeys, mentors. The ghost may be an old college friend, a professor, a pastor, a spiritual companion from the road, or a traveling buddy. The forgiveness here is letting go of how others tried to define your truth. Service is about teaching or sharing wisdom without bitterness. The opportunity to claim your own philosophy now, no longer chained to someone else's doctrine. If your rising sign is Leo, then Pisces dives into your 8th house. Intimacy, power, shared resources, karmic depths. The ghost here are deep ones. Ex-lovers, drug or drinking buddies, the partners you lost and the ones you still can't quite let go of. Maybe even old 12-step companions. The forgiveness here is radical. Forgiving yourself for what you gave away, for what you lost, or for what was taken. Service means reclaiming your power with honesty and transparency. The opportunity is transformation. This is the house where ghosts can finally be laid to rest. If Virgo is your rising sign, then Pisces activates your seventh house, the place of partnerships, contracts, one-on-one relationships. The ghosts here are ex-husbands, ex-lovers, ex-partners, old friends who became rivals. The forgiveness is obvious, but not easy. Forgiving yourself for the choices you made in love, friendship, or partnership. Forgiving them for theirs. Service means approaching partnerships now with clarity, with clean hands. The opportunity to finally stop dragging the corpses of old loves behind you. Libra rising. Pisces illuminates your sixth house. Ghosts here may come through old co-workers, tedious cycles, even health patterns that flare up again and again. This is also the house of hospitals and illness. Maybe you revisit a chapter tied to care or healing. The forgiveness here is of your body, your routines, the endless survival mode you've been caught in. Service means loosening Virgo's grip on perfection and flowing into Pisces' compassion. The opportunity is to heal by changing how you serve, less rigid, more soulful. And Libra risings may also be the ones who feel sometimes like I'm stuck. I'm stuck in something I can't move past. And perhaps what you're stuck in is your vision of perfectionism, your vision of what it should be, instead of receiving what it is and being open to it, even if it's not the perfection you envisioned. Big lesson. Now, if your rising sign is Scorpio, Pisces energizes your fifth house. That's creativity, children, romance, joy. The ghost here may be old lovers, an abandoned creative project, or even echoes from the stage, theatrics, performance, the spotlight you once stepped into, or the one you craved. The forgiveness is for the ways you gave your heart recklessly, or the ways your art was ignored. Service is giving yourself permission to create again, to love again, without bitterness. The opportunity is joy reborn. Now, if your rising sign is Sagittarius, Pisces flows through your fourth house. That's family, roots, the home you came from. Childhood ghosts may walk back in, neighbors from your old street, relatives from long ago, the echo of your own foundation. The forgiveness here is for the home that shaped you, flaws and all. Service is in creating a new home that heals instead of repeating the old wounds. The opportunity to root yourself in peace, not in pain. Now, if your rising sign is in Capricorn, well, Pisces touches your third house. Here you find your siblings, your neighbors, your classmates, the people you ran with in early life. The ghosts are tied to words, gossip, careless phrases, old grudges spoken in youth. The forgiveness here is for yourself, for what you said when you didn't know better, and for them too. Service means using your voice with wisdom now. And the opportunity is to let your words be healing instead of haunting. If Aquarius is your rising sign, then Pisces lights up your second house. That's money, worth, possessions. The ghost here might be financial ties. An old mentor or boss, someone tied to how you earned or lost money. Or they could be people who challenged your sense of value. Rich versus poor, worthy versus unworthy. The forgiveness here is releasing scarcity, humiliation, shame. Service means rebuilding worth from the inside out. The opportunity is claiming abundance as your birthright. Now, if your rising sign is Pisces, then Pisces strikes your first house. That's your body, your face, your very identity. The ghosts here are the old versions of you. Names, looks, the person you used to be. Others may even treat you like you're still that person. The forgiveness here is blessing your old self, thanking them for carrying you this far. Service means stepping fully into who you are now. developing a good relationship with your skin. The opportunity is rebirth, to walk forward as your truest self. So, depending on your rising sign, this is going to light up a specific area of your life. There is where you're going to bump into an echo from your past. That's the ghost I'm talking about. Not necessarily real flying ghosts, but the remnants, the reflections of traces from back then. We're all linked in this life through our experiences and live in each other's memories, even though some of those memories are buried. At times like this, when the cosmic energies align, causing you to bump into someone from back then, they bring that back. And maybe there was something there you needed to think about in this moment. Mostly when this happens, I find it's an opportunity for forgiveness. Forgiving yourself, forgiving them. That was the time of madness. This is a different time. And remember, you can only deal with yourself. You only carry your own baggage. You only carry your water in your water jug. Flow with the energy of this eclipse. You'll see what this time is going to bring to you. And then move through it quickly, because just ahead, we're right into the partial solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, which is going to take place on September 21st. And that actually completes a lunar arc from black moon to fourth new moon of summer, from 0 degrees of Virgo to 29 degrees of Virgo. That's a bigger story, and I've already talked about it in 2 previous videos. Maybe I'll mention it again as we move through this arc. But for this lunar eclipse, this is an opportunity for you to do some shadow work. And you know what? I kind of like moonlight. Sunlight's bright. It's beautiful, but too much light blinds you. Sometimes you can see better at night, in the shadows. I know this as a photographer. The dynamic range of shadow is where the magic happens. That's where beauty lives. If the light's too harsh, it blows it out. If it's too dim, you lose the definition. But when the light hits the shadows just right, that's when you see the most vibrant colors. You see the beauty you didn't see while you were in it. So enjoy this lunar eclipse. Cover yourself in this Bloody Mary Magdalene moon. Yes, it's a blood moon. It's a Magdalene moon. It asks for reverence, forgiveness, and release. Don't be afraid of the shadows. They will give the light its meaning. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Bye now.